So in this video, I wanted to explain my thoughts on Microsoft's E3 and the lack of 343 Industries at the conference. Before we get started, this video is actually a podcast with a fellow YouTuber named BZ Central. It's more of a relaxed commentary, just bouncing ideas off each other and reflecting on Microsoft's E3 event. With that being said, we'll have a new video coming out in the next day or so about Halo 6, so expect that. And lastly, sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy the video. Peace.
So recently, E3 just went on. Huge stuff there. The Xbox press conference was on Sunday, right? Yeah?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And I'm kind of disappointed a little bit.
Oh, me too, man.
Yeah.
Major disappointment, dude. Oh, man. At first, I was excited and anticipating this. I was like, oh, man, like, you know, this is Microsoft's big moment. Xbox One X, we get to see the Scorpio. You know, I really wanted to see what kind of exclusives they've been investing in, the AAA first-party exclusives, and wow, was I disappointed. You know, at the beginning, they were mentioned, I think Phil Spencer came out, he was like, yeah, we have 46 exclusive games, and 22 of those are going to be, no, I'm sorry, he said 46 games, and then 22 of those would be exclusive, and I got excited. I'm like, dude, like, this is going to be awesome, man, I can't wait. You know, I was expecting to see something in line with, you know, Halo, Gears of War, like something with that kind of quality that we were going to be getting on the Xbox, and none of that happened. Like, none of it, dude.
Yeah.
All I seen was indie games and Crackdown and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
that's all I.
Yeah, and just in general, I was on the edge of my seat every time I saw like world premiere on the screen,
right.
bro.
It was like Windows. It was like Windows and Xbox exclusive, and then like I was like, come on, man, we need like a Halo 3 anniversary. We need, you know, the next Alan Wake. Maybe they started Fable again, or just come on, like. Yeah. And all we got was like Ori and the Blind Forest 2. What else was there? State of Decay
3, right?
Yeah, State of Decay, which I thought State of Decay looked all right. Yeah. I like the first one, but you know, I still think they need to branch out of that sort of indie game status. Indie games are great, of course. I'm not knocking them. I love indie games. I support them with all my heart. But come on, man! Like, if you're gonna show off a 4K console and you're trying to show off the power of the Xbox One X, or I don't even like that name, but if you're trying to show off the power of the Xbox One X, then show it off. You know, show AAA exclusives, such as, you know, things that have high quality, like Gears of War, or Halo, or something that could new IP that would be something like that. And they failed in that department.
And usually every time there's a new Xbox console, or at least a big one like the Xbox One X, recently known as Scorpio, there's usually a game that ships with it. And I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, you know, I'm angry. I've been holding the rant in for so long. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna wait till we do this thing with weapons grade. I'm just gonna hold it in and wait till then. But I am extremely pissed.
Halo 3 anniversary.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Listen, the fact that they didn't even show up to the press conference at all, not even like a snippet. We don't care about 4K 60 frames on Halo Wars 2. Yes, that's nice, but it's not really needed. You know, I want to see a game that would ship with the Xbox One X. If H3A was released with the Xbox One S on release, it would sell. For the simple fact that, yeah, it's a powerful console, but, you know, it's going to ship with this game. Or at least a Halo spinoff. Something that nods to at least Halo 3. I don't give two, like, craps about Halo Wars 2 DLC. Yeah, that's
Nobody
cool.
does. That's why they didn't show it off on the main show.
Yeah.
People were expecting, they were like, yeah, you know, they might show off Halo Wars 2 DLC on the floor. They wouldn't show that. Halo Wars 2 didn't do well at all in terms of sales, in terms of population. It's almost like a failure. Yeah. Why would they, you know, it's past. They've done that already. They wouldn't show that at E3. So, but go on.
Yeah, and just in general, the fact that they waited till the next day to even show this off, you know, it's not cool. You know, maybe they could have just had it like them not show up at all, like in the, I don't know, if it was just the DLC itself, they could at least just showed it on screen without them having to all go the next day on Xbox Daily and show this. I don't care about the DLC. I don't care about the Flood returning in that way. I want it to
Right.
return in a main core Halo game like it's supposed to. I don't want it in Halo Wars 2 because that game is yet again broken. Blitz
Yeah.
mode. I've heard my friend Brandon told me that you have a whole like thing about Blitz mode, and I completely
Yeah,
agree with that.
I tore it all apart. And I was actually right about that. It is pay to win. Actually, it's not even popular. Nobody even plays it really, which is actually great. But anyways, I find it disgraceful that they actually took the DLC that's coming out that they showed off the Flood and all that stuff. That's not part of the season pass.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was just like, what are they doing? Like, what? But I mean, Halo 3 Anniversary, man, it was just a big missed opportunity for Microsoft. I mean,
Yeah.
they needed something to launch with the Xbox One X, something, you know, along the lines of Halo or Gears, or just something. And Halo 3 Anniversary just could have patched that hole that was missing there.
Yeah.
Halo 3 Anniversary, updated graphics, 4K, 60 frames per second. It could have looked great using and utilizing the Xbox One X, and they just didn't take advantage of it, man. At the end of the press conference, very end where they announced Anthem, I swore, I was like, this has to be it. This has to be it. And I was so shocked that they showed a multi-platform game as the last thing to show.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You got to end on an exclusive game. You have to wow your audience. Like, I mean, I thought Anthem looked pretty cool, but come on, man. I was so disappointed. I'm like, okay, that's it. As soon as Anthem ended, I was like, okay, what's next? You know, there has to be more. They cannot just end the show like that. And I was like, wow.
And yet again, it's Xbox One X has turned into one of those things where it's an optional console to get now. It's either one of those things where it's like you get an Xbox One X or S for your family, you get an Xbox One just because you have it and you don't want to get rid of it, or you get an Xbox One X because you're a hardcore gamer. But or either way, I should say, there are games that benefit from the Xbox One X, like something like Ark that runs decently okay on the Xbox One, runs at like 30 frames. You get those like terrible frame drops. That's needed on the Xbox One X. And something like Halo, I just it needs to be there, because it's like I've been with the series my entire life. It's just something that cannot die out. Like it's sad. Really.
Something that really sort of annoys me on Twitter, you'll see people, I'm just going to say names here. I believe it was Luke the Notable or somebody like that. You know, they're always going, Halo needed a break. It was Ultimate Halo. He said, Halo needed a break. You know, I'm glad we're not getting anything this year. And I'm like, why does Halo need a break? It's already broken. You know what I mean? It needs something. It needs to be there. And
Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2 cannot survive another year of content, especially for them. I'm surprised they're saying that, because they're all Halo content creators, and they're going to realize in the months to come, there is nothing to cover Halo. There's no news. There's no, like, who cares about Halo Wars DLC? That's a video you get, like, once every few months. It's
there's nothing at PAX either or Gamescom.
It's sad, really. I mean, it's... Oh, man. And we're not, like, disgracing any other Halo YouTubers in this.
Oh, no.
No. It's just, yet again, the points that some people make in their own opinions, you know, we don't agree with some of them. So that's just, you know, something that I'd like to bring up, because we don't want anybody to get salty. So we ain't throwing shade. Definitely.
But yeah, man, just after the conference, I was left wondering, what is the purpose of the Xbox One X? What is this doing here? Like, is it for people who are just Xbox fans? Is it people? It's obviously not for people who want games, right? I mean, who's going to buy this to play indie games? That's my main complaint with the Xbox One X. I mean, it needs something to justify that $500 price tag. Yes, it's a beast of a console from what I hear and from what I've seen, but it needs to be something to back that up, something like games, you know. And I do believe Sony is in the right direction with that. They're releasing a lot of different exclusives, Spider-Man 4, God of War, you know.
in general, Sony's conference was like 10 times, even though it wasn't as like action packed and as
Right.
cool as Xbox's. When it came to like Forza and them showing off that new Porsche, that was cool. I loved that. But you
Right.
know, Sony's games in general were 10 times better. Like Spider-Man, yet again God of War, Days Gone. It's all there. I'm surprised they didn't show Is Last of Us 2. I did that come out yet? I don't know because I don't.
I'm not, no, it did not come out yet,
I'm
but
surprised they didn't show anything dealing with that either. So I mean, it's
well, Sony even said after that they were like, "Yeah, we do have other stuff we didn't show yet. We're waiting for later." And
yeah,
I have the feeling that Microsoft just doesn't have anything planned. Like they need to prove to gamers, they need to prove to their audience that you know what? Yes, we are investing in AAA first party exclusives. We are catering to people who want games because that's really what consoles are about. Um, this is my opinion. I do think Xbox excels in services, features. It's really improved in terms of like backwards compatibility and
yeah,
uh, you know but
but
if it could just improve in the gaming department, I really
mhm,
think it would be a well-rounded console.
yeah. And the one thing I'm gonna love about the Xbox One X, and I hope to God this is a feature because I hate when my Xbox One does this, is the fact that the UI on Xbox One is completely broken. Like sometimes my sidebar menu, and if you guys have experienced this, down in the comments, let me know on Weapons Grid and my video. In general, on the side, the start menu, like the side menu, I don't know what you call that, not the snap
Yeah.
map, but
The one guide.
the one guide, yeah. That will sometimes crash and then not pop up for like 10 seconds and then finally pop up and I'll be in a party or was in a party and then I'm not in there anymore. Like doesn't even tell me I left, doesn't even tell me I got disconnected, just it's not there. And then I have to go restart another one and then re-invite my friends or rejoin them. It's annoying. Sometimes my games will crash.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it definitely
it's
has its fair share of issues.
mhm,
It definitely does. I do believe 360 was the gold for Xbox.
mhm.
Um, Xbox One's even in the very beginning, it was way worse than what we have now. Um, but yeah, I really do think if they just focus on those games, then something can actually happen.
Yeah,
But again, Halo 3 Anniversary was just
huge disappointment.
major disappointment. Major
Yeah.
disappointment. I made the video. You're talking about it. Why it still might happen. I never said it would happen, but it
Mhm.
was logical to assume that it still could happen because 343 have lied numerous times, millions of times
Yeah.
actually. I could go on right now, hundreds of times they've lied to us as consumers. But again, it was logical to believe that it could happen. There was no reason not to believe, and it's not enough for me to just say, oh, it's not coming because person X from 343 Studios says, oh my God, no Halo Anniversary. No, that's just not good enough for me. You know what I mean? And I still stand by that. I still am gonna keep the video up, even though
And
I
to back up your point, wasn't it 343 didn't really have a huge part in the anniversary games, did they? It was normally
correct,
Certain Infinity. So of
correct.
course they may not be working on it, but Certain Infinity or somebody else would be. So
Yeah, yeah. I somebody in the comment section said, this is not happening because 343 don't have time to make Halo 3 Anniversary, and I pointed out, I said, you know what, you're wrong because they outsource a lot of their projects
yeah.
involving remakes. They did that with the first remake. They did that
Bungie,
with
especially with
MCC.
Halo Chronicles and different games that got canceled that nobody knew that they were
Yeah,
working on. So,
I
yep.
I believe like 3 or 4 teams worked on the MCC, and 343 all they did was the networking, which was actually one of the worst parts of the game.
Yeah. And there was many points to where, yet again, that people were saying it wasn't coming out. It was the fact that it was on the Master Chief Collection. Um, you know, it it's one of those things where Halo 3 on the Master Chief Collection, it doesn't feel like original Halo 3. You know what? And a matter of fact,
It
even if
doesn't.
we don't get Halo 3 Anniversary, it's been planned for backwards compatibility for some time now. And if they can regain that popularity back up on the original game and bring it to backwards compatible, maybe that's what they're gonna do for the 10th year anniversary of Halo 3. Just bring it backwards compatible, which is, you know, I would rather take the original Halo 3 over the Master Chief Collections, so I'd be playing that.
I think a lot of people would, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure though if it would get popular again.
yeah,
I really do believe that yeah, the population would spike a little bit, but I do believe that a lot of people would it would just die off again, sort of like
yeah, like Black Ops
um
2 or
yeah. But last time I was on Black Ops 2, it was at 100,000, and I got on yesterday and it was at 30. So it's sort of like it goes up and goes back down. It's not going to have a long lasting impact that we
yeah.
really need to have at this point.
Mm. And I was even expecting maybe a Halo 5 content DLC for like Halo 3 content. Maybe just maybe like Halo 3 Spiker Chopper, maybe. I don't know, something that,
Yeah.
because Halo Wars 2 and the whole Brute theme, maybe they can have something that relates to the Brutes with Halo 3 content in it, like the Spiker and all that other stuff that could be in the game, but it's not. And it's one of those guns where I feel like the Spiker needs to be in a future Halo game, because it's like that's one of my favorite guns, and it's not.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in there. Just really hurts a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm even then though. I'm not even sure if that is enough at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, Halo 5 getting a Halo 3 pack, whatever the hell they call it, with Rex or whatever.
Oh, no. Okay, did you see what I sent you, like tweeted you and stuff about the
Oh yeah.
platinum packs?
Explain it, because I didn't read into it.
Okay, so basically these platinum packs are gonna cost 20,000 rec points. So I believe they're out now, and they're for here forever. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and they give 50% more rare items in the packs for 20,000 rec points, and they give the same amount of permanent things inside the packs as gold packs. So like, there's no difference in how much stuff you get when it comes to like unlocking stuff for the amount of things in it. But it's 50% more like better cards inside of it, and it's not. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's another one of those cash grabs. It's like, let's add the Nornfane rec pack or the Prophet's Bane rec pack, and I did a video a long time ago about this. Why I hate those rec packs, because it pretty much broke Warzone, and now this
Right.
is going to even more break Warzone than it already is, because everybody's going to be running around with Norfanes, Prophets, Banes, and everything else, like these level 20s running around with the fucking Prophets, Bane and shit. So I can't see it being too good of a thing that could impact the game. So
Right. I stopped playing Halo 5 months ago, dude. The only time I play Halo 5 actually is if I just need to get footage for a video.
yeah,
Other than that, dude, Warzone, I haven't played months. Occasionally I'll play the multiplayer in Halo 5 just to get footage, like I said. But the Warzone aspect of the game, dude, oh my god, it's been months, and I just never agreed with the rec pack system.
yeah,
I do understand that. Yeah, it is not as bad as other systems. But it's just not really my thing. I don't really like
armor customization.
yeah. First of all, the armor customization in Halo 5 is atrocious anyway. I really don't see how anybody can get
Yeah.
excitement or entertainment out of putting on some helmet that looks like a sound box. I don't know. That's just me. But
Yeah. Yet again, I play Halo just to play Halo. Even though I don't like Halo 5, I still ended up playing it a lot for the fact that it was the only Halo game that had a progression system on Xbox One that I was able to play at the time.
Yeah.
Backwards compatibility came out. There's only like Halo Reach at the time, and
Real quick, dude, I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
They did show on the press conference. Phil Spencer was talking about backwards compatibility, and it did show Halo 3 in the background along with ODST as an Xbox 360 backwards compat title. People were saying like, maybe they are gonna do a backwards compatible Halo 3 or something like that. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that technically, since they announced backwards compatibility, Halo 3's always been back there, and it's been there since like when they announced it. It was when they were rotating all the games. It was there. and on the website it was there. It's been there, and obviously it's probably planned if it's been there, or unless if it's just like an overlay, just title. But
Yeah.
it definitely is going to come to Xbox. There's no doubt about that. Yet again, oh, go ahead.
Do you think they're going to remaster MCC? Or I'm sorry, not remaster, but give it the 4K update for the Xbox One X, sort of like they're doing with Halo 5, I think.
You know, I don't know. I I don't know at this point, because what 343 pulled at E3, I don't know what they're gonna do next. I pretty much, you can even agree with me. We were expecting something.
Right,
We got
some form
nothing.
of communication, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and
we shouldn't be surprised though. We are
yeah,
talking about 343 here. You know, you
yeah,
should always go in with the lowest expectations when it comes
yeah,
to 343. That's something I've learned since the days of Halo 4, and even when they took over Reach. Man, just always expect the worst, and it will hurt you less with 343.
yeah.
That's my
And
mind.
exactly, like, how did they go? Halo 4. All right, I enjoyed playing that game. The campaign, you know, the multiplayer was still. I take the multiplayer in that game better than Halo 5's any day. I will play that because it had a
Halo
progression.
4.
Yeah, because it had.
I agree.
Yeah,
I at least, real quick, I'm sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, but I think Halo 4 at least felt a little bit more of a Halo game than Halo 5.
yeah,
A little bit more. I understand it changed everything too, but at least you could still see the resemblance of some Halo in there. And Halo 5 just went, fuck it, dude. No, we're just going all out of fucking all these abilities and stuff, and it just
yeah.
didn't. But go ahead.
And you know, Halo 4, it's one of those games where I got to max level. I absolutely 100% got to max level in that game. And the point I kept
Me too,
playing, yeah, the point I kept playing, or the point I want to make is why I kept playing, is the fact that the progression system was actually a progression system. When you started the game, you were unlocking the BR, unlocking all this armor. Once you got to level 50, every 10 ranks, you'd get a specialist, and that specialist would have new perks, new build, or new armor, and some weapon skins maybe. I don't know exactly, but you know, every 10 ranks you would get that after level 50. New specialist, it was there, right?
Yeah.
That was awesome, because then it gave people a point to level up. In Halo 5, you're leveling up. There's no point to leveling up at all. There's nothing, except for the fact that it's a number. It's basically just a number. That's it. You know, maybe you get those rec packs, promotional packs, but those don't count. Those don't unlock anything in the rec system. Those give you
Yeah.
cards, not certifications, not armor. It gives you nothing except for cards. You know, maybe if they took the leveling up system in Halo 5 and made it a little bit better by adding like permanent rec cards and stuff for armor, and you know, the higher level you were, the more armor you got. You know, that would be fine. That'd actually be pretty good. Like, say if you got
Right.
to like level 50, you would unlock like 2 legendary armors, right?
Mm.
Just something that would give a point to leveling up. And the thing that I hate about MCC is the fact that there's no progression in that game at all, except for achievements. And you know,
None.
that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I played it, was the fact that, you know, I wanted to beat all 4 campaigns again. It was fun. And I got all the
Mhm.
achievements, all on legendary. But there's no progression system. All the armor's unlocked. You don't. It's all in armor sets. Why is it all in armor sets? That shouldn't even be a thing. You know,
Right.
half the weapon skins that were in Halo 4 aren't in MCC, and it's just fucking.
See, that was the problem of releasing 4 games on the culmination of one. Uh, Bonnie Ross even admits this, that, you know, if they could go back, they would have separately given out the games instead. And, you know, doing that, giving it a unified UI and all that stuff, really restricted the content of each game singularly. Like, for instance, like you said with Halo 3, you know, the armor and stuff like that was already unlocked for you, because, you know, they didn't want to go out and
Yeah.
it restricted each game to just one playlist. You know what I mean? Like Halo, if you wanted to play Halo 3, you weren't getting the full Halo 3 you got back in 2007. You were getting the Halo 3 in a playlist kind of thing. Same with Halo 2. You're not getting the full aspect, the full experience of the game before, and that's because it got restricted by being bundled with other games.
Yeah, and yet again, let's go into H3A. All right, because this is what people are just.
That's exactly why H3A would have been
Yeah.
um, feasible, because the MCC really didn't do Halo 3 any justice. Yeah, it updated the FPS and it made the graphics look a wee bit better, but other than that, you weren't getting the full Halo 3 experience. And even 343 admit that. But I, go on.
Yet again, my rant is I think I left a little tidbit earlier about them not showing up at all. The fact that you 343 are the company that made Halo the greatest franchise of all time. You don't add elites. You messed up the whole movement system in Halo 5, the whole groove in Warzone, the whole point of Warzone. You didn't add the Falcon in the Halo Retract pack or the pack or whatever it was. That would have been cool in Warzone. I would have loved to have a transport vehicle I can carry my friends in, and we would sit there and gun down people. That would have been cool. There's a lot of things that they had opportunities that they never took advantage of, and I can't stand. I think that Halo is definitely more likely going to die in the next year because Halo Wars 2 and Halo 5 do not have enough content, yet again, to continue it for YouTubers and for people to play it. Those games are going to die out, and Halo's going to become like a dead meme. I mean, that's where it's headed right now.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Destiny right now because yet
Oh
again,
man, really?
I love Destiny 1. I played it since like the beginning. Maybe year 1 wasn't as like people said it wasn't as good, but for me, I love the end game. I love the challenge of the nightfall and not being able to, revert the last checkpoint, restarting back from the beginning. That whole thing of collecting the Galahorns and shit, that was good.
Mm.
That was Destiny year 1, and then it moved on. Destiny got better over time, and it's one of those games where I feel like Destiny is probably going to be the #1 franchise for the next decade or so.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I do think Destiny is already bigger than Halo.
Oh, it is. It is. It definitely is.
And if you look at that at face value, it's just sad. Like, how can a new IP from Bungie right off the bat be bigger than something that took years and years to build?
Mm-hmm.
It just shows the incompetence and lack of know-how with 343 Industries. But I wanted to point out when you were talking about Halo being dead, I really do think that if Halo 6 doesn't cater to the classic roots of Halo, I really do think Halo will be at its end almost. I do think that they need to cater to the classical roots with the next Halo game. In some way, in some form, they can't just alienate a portion of their fan base like they have been. And I understand that they want to create new experiences, and I understand that they want to venture off into different directions, but they can do that. That's fine. But the point is, you need to also remember what you had before, the history that the Halo franchise has created, and build that into the next game. It needs to be a balancing act. They can't just go, oh, we're gonna just say fuck it to everything, and just forget about what classic Halo was about. They could at least cater to classic Halo fans in some way. Sorry, I butchered that up, but
it's
my girlfriend keeps calling me right now, and she's being annoying. She's like, why? She's like, why aren't you answering me? You were just active on Facebook 35 minutes ago. I'm like, okay, cool, but go on.
And yet again, I think that just in general, if Halo does die, there's Destiny. Destiny is the go-to game. Literally, it's what I imagined, Bungie would be able to do in the future. That's the game. That's the story. Even if the story in the first year 1 wasn't good, it wasn't at all. And it was all in the Grimoire. It's one of those things where Dark Souls, you can go in and find all this new, like, I want to say you can go ahead and find, like, hidden lore, and same thing with Skyrim and Elder Scrolls. You can find the lore in the game and books and stuff. And I think they're adding, like, the lore now. There's no more Grimoire cards in Destiny 2, but it's all, like, in the game now, which is actually really good because people don't have to go out of their time and look on their phone. to read all that. Yet again, it was really cool. Like if you read the Book of Sorrows and the story of Oryx, and it was so cool. All that information, it definitely Destiny has the. It's already probably half a or Halo's.
From what I've seen, Destiny 2 is expanding on the lore a lot more than the first game.
Yep, definitely. Just in general, the lore brought and the Grimoire cards and stuff. It just shows you how expansive the Destiny universe actually is, and comparing it to the Halo lore and universe, it's getting pretty close to how much lore there is in Destiny compared to Halo. And I know it's a new IP, but trust me, if you read the entire book, like Book of Sorrows and all the other stuff in the Grimoire, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The only thing I actually love in Halo right now, and I don't know who's writing the books, but who's ever writing the books of Halo as of right now, like Halo New Blood, that was really good. Who's ever writing those, stick them inside the Halo games and make them write the story for Halo 6, because whoever wrote, I think, was it Halo New Blood, the one with where it told the story, backstory of Buck, the recent book that came out that told the backstory of Buck and how he became a Spartan 40. That book was amazing. I've read Master Chief Saga, I've read the Forerunner Saga, and the spin-off books, and I'm telling you right now, the people who make those, please just bring them into the game, because they need to work on it. They're just amazing.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I honestly, I don't know too much about sort of the books of Halo. I've never really read a Halo book, but I am glad you're sharing this, because it's something I really don't talk about a lot, and I like to get a different perspective on that. Normally I'm like a sort of like gameplay, multiplayer features kind of guy. I really do think that those two things are important in a video game. You got to make people feel connected in the universe, like you were saying, with the lore and all that stuff. But you also, at the same time, you have to nail gameplay. And it's just, like I said, it's just a balancing act. 343 don't balance. They fuck up in one area and they exceed in another. It's never, it's literally like they're 3 steps forward, 34 steps back. Like a lot of people, say that's what 343 stands for, and that really, they'll do amazing in an area. For instance, the custom game browser, that was amazing. That's something we've been asking for. Yes, Forge was great community tool. They've improved on it tremendously. I've said time and time again, that is something that I admire about 343 and what they've done.
And then bringing Halo to PC, the Halo 5 Forge.
Yeah, and at the same time, they do good in that area and they fuck up the rest of the game. And it's just like they need to balance. They need to make sure that their Halo game, or Halo 6 that is, releases with, all the things ready to go day one. Here we are. Here's what we got. Fans would enjoy it. That's the idea.
Yeah, and yet again, thanks guys for tuning in and listening to all this. It's crazy what went down at E3, and we pretty much got. I think you got your point across. I got my point across, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yet again, we're extremely not so happy with the way E3 went this year, and especially on 343's part, because we're Halo veterans and we don't like the way that it went. Yet again, if you guys have your own opinions, let us know down below in Weapons Grade Video and my own. I know I mess up a lot when I'm talking. It's just because I'm trying to ramble on.
Honestly, this is just like freestyle, just going off discussion, having a good time, reflecting off of E3. As with my channel, leave a comment down below what you think about the E3 Halo 3 anniversary not appearing and all that fun stuff. So
yeah, and we'll definitely be doing more videos together. This is for sure, because this was entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.